Well, my peoples, what is happening in the world, nobody is ready to tell peoples what is happening in the world. And I'm here to make it very clear to you whatever is happening in the world right now. Because whatever is happening, nobody is ready to tell you the truth. But first of all, we have many things to discuss today. But first of all, I'm going to start with whatever is happening to our peoples in Tunisia. First of all, I will start with that, then we can go back and take some toes in some problems that is happening right now in the world. And nobody is ready to tell you the truth. And everybody is trying to make themselves like they know something to say about things, while they don't know what they are saying. Many people are giving you news out there. Many people are giving you words out there for you to believe what is happening. But they are not ready to tell you the truth. They are just ready for you to listen to them, but they are not ready to tell you what is really happening. First of all, let's start with whatever is happening to our peoples in Tunisia. What is the cause of all those things? I will be very fast on that. Then from there, I will tell you whatever is happening between Europe, Russia, Ukraine, America, NATO, whatever is happening there. I'm trying to be very patient today to say whatever is happening from the beginning to the ending. I'm trying to make it very clear today to my peoples out there, especially to my African peoples. But first of all, I'm going to start with whatever my African peoples are passing through in Tunis and what is the cause of it. Nobody is trying to make the alarm of what is the cause of that problem right now. What black people are passing through in Tunisia. Nobody is trying to tell you the source of those problems. The source of the problem that is happening in Tunis to the black peoples, the harassment, the maltreatments, the dumping of black peoples in Tunisia. Nobody is ready to tell you where that problem came from and who are the cause of those problems. Nobody is ready to tell you that fact. They are just making it to Africans like Africans are being chased away from Tunis because they have caused a crime in Tunisia. No, that is not the cause of that problem. We are going to make it very clear. If African leaders are afraid to tell you, the Africans, what is the perfectly problems of that, I will be here today to make it clear and tell you who are those peoples behind the black people's sufferation in Tunisia. Who are those people behind this? They are behind this and they are making themselves like they care about Africans. Right? This is why they will never like me. They hate me because I try to point them out whenever they try to put their hands into Africa to make black Africans suffer more and more. They are the cause of it. But today they are the one populating it more than even Africans themselves. And they are never mentioning themselves that they are the cause. But today I'm here to tell you that first of all, let's start with this. EU, European Union, have paid Tunisia to stop migrants from entering to Europe. European Union have paid Tunisia and have an agreement with Tunisia. EU chief Ursula von der Leyen. Ursula. That is the EU chief who had made this very clear to the Tunisia. And Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, when they went to Tunisia, these three people, they were the people who joined together to go to Tunisia to have this discussion with Tunisian government. My people, I want you people to listen very well and say to all African peoples, let them know the cause of this problem. It's not because our brothers have made a crime in Tunisia, that's why they are chasing them away. No. The problem of that's what I'm going to tell you today. The peoples behind it. The chief of EU, European Union, Ursula, and the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, and the Dutch Prime Minister, the German Prime Minister, Mark Rutte. These three people joined together and go to Tunisia last time. What meeting do they have with Tunisia? The EU is calling it, when they meet with Tunisian president, the EU is calling it comprehensive strategic partnership. Tunis is ready. Tunis is now doing this because they get money out of it. Why Tunis is doing this? Why Tunis is sending black people away? There's a reason behind it, because they are getting money out of it. They are getting money out of it. And how much money are they getting out of this? How much money that is making Tunisian peoples, Tunisian government to chase black people away, to make sure that no black man have the coast or have the boat to cross the sea, the Mediterranean Sea, to come to Europe? How much money Tunisian government is getting from this? EU have promised Tunis with sum of 1 billion euro in every year. 1 billion. That is a fact. If it is a lie, I'm living in Europe. Tell the European Union to arrest me. I swear to God. If I am lying against them for whatever I am saying here, if it is wrong, tell the European Union to arrest me right now. And because I'm in Europe and they know where I stay and they know which residence I have. Because they are the one who give me. So they know where I stay. They know the residence I have. If I am lying against them, let them come and arrest me. If EU chief Ursula and Giorgia Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister, and the German Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, if they are not behind this, whatever is happening to black people right now today in Tunisia, if they are not behind it, let them arrest me and take me to court right now. Right now. But nobody is mentioning these peoples. Nobody is mentioning them in this problem. Whatever they are emphasizing in media is black people have committed a crime in Tunis, and now Tunisian government is sending them away. This is what they have been emphasizing to us. And we believe that our fellow black people make a crime. That's why they are sending them away from Tunis. But there is a big crime behind this. Against the human right. This is the agents. This is what they are doing right now. EU chief Ursula and Giorgia Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister, and German Prime Minister Mark Rutte, they are against the human right now. But where is human right? Human right is not speaking. Whatever they are doing in Tunisia right now to pay Tunisia the sum of 1 billion euro in every year to stop migration from migrating, that is a crime against human right. We all know it, and we all know the human right. That is crime against human right. But where is that so-called human right organization who was mentioning African leaders who was threatening African leaders that if they don't accept LGBTQ in African countries, they are against human right? Where is that so-called human right organization when they are perfectly aware that EU Prime Minister, EU Chief Ursula and Giorgia Meloni, Prime Minister of Italy, and Dutch Land Prime Minister, that is German Prime Minister Mark Rutte, when they are making this crime in Tunisia? Nobody can stop migration. I make it very clear. There is nobody in this world that can stop Africans from migrating to enter Europe. If you stop it, call me a bastard. I tell you this. If they can stop migration, let them call me a bastard. They don't know what they have caused to themselves. And now they are regretting why they killed Mohammed Gaddafi. You must face the wrath by killing Mohammed Gaddafi. You must face the wrath. They must face it. Nobody can stop migrants, African black peoples, from migrating to enter Europe. Nobody in this world. If you don't believe me, whatever they have been paying to Tunisia, it go in vain, because they can never stop it. They can never stop the migration. Stop making it. And I see so many Africans in media taking news from the EU, from the Western media, and coming to emphasize it to their own people that because of the migrants we are chased away from Tunis because they commit a crime. But they don't even know the source. The Western media will never tell you that EU Chief Prime Minister, the European Union Chief Ursula, and Giorgia Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister, and Mark Rutte, the German Minister, those are the peoples behind this. Nobody, the Western media will never tell you this. They will never tell you that the European Union is behind this rubbish that is happening to black people right now. But now, if you see, European Union Parliament is now talking like they want to help black migrants who are in Tunisia, who are suffering. Look how our peoples are suffering between Tunisia and Libya. Look how they are suffering out there. Nobody is ready to tell you the truth. They are just telling you that because our people make a crime. No, our people doesn't make any crime. The African black peoples, migrants in Tunisia, they don't make any crime. Because of the Tunisian government is receiving a huge amount of money from the European Union. European Union have promised Tunisian government a huge amount of money, a sum of 1 billion euro every year. If they can stop the migration, if they can start maltreating the migration. That's why the Tunisian government took this first action to take all migrants away and put them in Sahara. That is an action that to show the European Union that we have been doing the job you asked us to do. Now, when the year finishes, we are waiting for our 1 billion euro. That's why Tunisian government took this decision. And nobody is telling you that. From there, let's jump up and go. What is happening? You know, when I talk about this story, I feel so happy. The story between Russia and Ukraine and America. I made a little bit video to talk to NATO. And I see so many Africans being lamenting, complaining, insulting me why I made that speech against NATO. So many black Africans were insulting me under the comments. I know they may come to the window to watch me right now. They were insulting me there. Why do I make that speech? To tell NATO if they want to fire Russia, let them fire Russia. Let them stop lamenting. Let them stop posting that we are warning Russia. NATO is warning Russia. When I made that video, many people are insulting me. And I said I must come to life to make it clear to them whatever is happening. whatever is happening between Russia and Ukraine. Look, a bridge was fired. And whatever I'm going to say here is not my words. Whatever I said about Vladimir Putin is the word from Vladimir Putin. And whatever I say about Zelensky is the word from Zelensky. It's not my words. I just want people to listen and get this into their heads and know what is going on. I don't talk in my own ideas, but I talk in reality. What is happening in reality? This is why they will never like me, because I don't like talking about my own mind to people, because my own mind is different from what is happening in reality. And I really talk about the reality that is happening. I don't calculate things in my mind and say, oh, I think this is happening, then I must tell this to my people. No. I look in the reality, what is really happening, and I take it out and give it to my people to learn from it. Why am I happy about the Russian and Ukraine war and America being going down and UK and NATO being going down? Why am I happy? Because I'm happy because whatever they have caused, whatever damages they caused in Africa is now turning back to them. They are now feeling like this war is really paining them. So they are going to feel the same pain Africans feel when they cause war in African countries, when they cause war in Ethiopia, when they cause war in Syria, when they cause war in Libya, when they cause war in Burkina Faso, when they cause war in Guinea, when they cause war in Cameroon, when they cause war in Sierra Leone. I want them to feel the same thing. They are feeling now the same thing, what Africans pass through when they go into Africa to make wars happen in Africa more and more. After they fire the bridge, Putin says, I am not the one who said it. I took this speech from Putin himself. Putin said, due to the terrorist attack, the roadway on several spans of the Crimean Bridge was seriously damaged. As a result, both automobile and railway traffic were temporarily stopped. Considering that the second terrorist attack on the Crimean Bridge has already taken place. This is a speech of Putin, not my speech. Take it as the speech of Putin. Putin says, I am waiting for Congress proposal to approve the security of this strategical important transport facility. This morning, we discussed this with the colleague in details. At the end, I would like to repeat that what have happened is yet another terrorist attack or terrorist act committed by Kiev regime. This is the word from Putin. This crime is useless from the military standpoint because the Crimean Bridge is not used for military logistics since long ago. It is also a cruel crime because innocent civilians have been killed. Of course, there will be a response from the Russian side. This is a word from Putin. That means he is going to pay back whatever they do in Crimean Bridge. In Crimean Bridge, the firing squad that fired Crimean Bridge, Putin said he is going to revenge. I am not the one who said it. And let's go to the other part. Let's go to Zelensky, the word from Zelensky. Zelensky make a miscalculation of three things that I'm going to tell you today. Zelensky, the Ukraine president, make a miscalculation of three things. Overestimating Western support, number one. Number two, he misread Ukraine's importance to West. That is number two. Number three, he misread Putin's intent to invade. Putin's intention. Let's start with the number one. The number one, Zelensky think the West will support him in all ways. Biden was not ready to remove Ukraine from war, but supplying them with small weapons that can't help the militaries. Biden is investing in this war to get more money. NATO is investing in this war to get more money. I think people must listen to this very well. Biden was not ready to remove Ukraine from the war, but supplying them with small weapons that can help the military. Biden is investing in this war to get more income. NATO is investing in this war to get more income. Zelensky was believing that America and NATO will help for free. On the 1st of September last year, Zelensky says, it's not my words, I took this word from Zelensky himself. Zelensky says, I feel the President Biden, because at that time Zelensky was feeling like they are going to help him. Zelensky was feeling like he will get full support. Zelensky said, I feel the President Biden, well, not only do I feel, I heard that he personally supports Ukraine on the issues of granting NATO membership. But it is hard for me to tell what's the part is going to be like. In April 2021, Zelensky said again, Zelensky seemed very confident of America and NATO support. He said, President Biden assured me that Ukraine will never be left alone against Russia aggression. And actually, Zelensky hoped for a big thing, more helps from America. It's day 14 of the invasion. Europe is still buying Russian oil and gas. People who are intent to help Ukraine, they are still buying Russian gas and oil. The fact is, the West lead Ukraine on. They refuse to compromise. They promise all the support. But will the time come, when the time comes, NATO stop back. NATO stood back and watched Ukraine in fire. This is miscalculation of Zelensky number 1. We go to miscalculation of Zelensky number 2. Zelensky overestimated Ukraine's importance to West. It was evidence in his words, in his own words. I took this from. He called Ukraine the shell of Europe. He said, the Ukraine Vizim, Rokiv. For 8 years, Ukraine has been assailed. For 8 years, Ukraine has been holding back one of the greatest armies in the world. With standard alone, our borders, not the borders of European Union, and the missile system flew to Mariupol, not to European cities. The events confirm that comprehensive security in Europe is impossible if Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity is not restored. Again, Zelensky was wrong, very wrong to take that step. Zelensky was very wrong to think like that if EU is going to be disturbed by their own problems. Ukraine was expendable for the West. They were not serious about the NATO membership. They were not serious about the sanctions. For them, Ukraine was just a tool, something to irritate Putin. That's all. But that useful tool had an expired date. It was February 24th when Russia invaded, and this has happened before. Think back to Afghanistan. Think back to Afghanistan. I'm giving it to my people for you to put it in your mind. Think back in Afghanistan what America have done to Afghanistan in 1980s. Think back in Afghanistan, 1980s. America funded the Mujahideen to fight against the Soviet army. Was it because Afghanistan was strategically important for the West? No, it was not. The sole objective was to give the Soviet a bloody nose. Afghanistan was also a useful tool for America. The same with Georgia. America armed them in the late 2000s. They trained Georgia soldiers. They promised NATO membership in the future for Georgia. But when war broke out, NATO recoiled. Zelensky made the same mistake that Afghanistan and Georgia make. Because when Americans were using Georgia to train their militaries to fight, to go into war, they were promising them with NATO membership. And the same thing they did to Ukraine. They promised Ukraine with NATO membership. And what happened to Ukraine? Let's go to Zelensky miscalculation number 3. That is the last miscalculation. Zelensky failed to read Putin's mind. On this, you can actually blame him. Until the last moment, nobody thought there will be a war. From Zelensky, there will be threat. But eventually, Russia will pull back. This is what Zelensky was thinking. That was a confession wisdom. Even as late as January 28, Zelensky not buying the way to war. Zelensky was not ready for war. This is what Zelensky said. The feeling from the media is that we have a war. We have troops on the roads. We have mobilization. People are going somewhere. It does not. We do not need the panic. We do not need this panic. This is a word from Zelensky. Zelensky was fooled by West and NATO. Should he prepare better? Should Zelensky prepare better before this war? Should he consider Putin's proposal more seriously? Perhaps he should. But if you are Zelensky, listen to this. If you are Zelensky, he had the world's most powerful military alliance promising support from America and NATO. You have little weapons. You have little weapons pouring in Ukraine every day. You have promise of unprecedented sanctions on Russia. It is not surprising that Zelensky decided to fight. It is not surprising because he get promise from America, from NATO, from all parts of the world. They are giving him fake promises. When NATO promised him of membership in NATO, when America was promising him of supplying them with weapons, at the end of the day, right now, there is no weapons being supplied because they lose weapons. They have no weapons anymore to supply in Ukraine. And I will tell you, the West promised of savage, but they refuse to fight for it. And history will judge him for that. History will judge who? History is going to judge Zelensky for that. When there will be no media, when there will be no YouTube videos, when there will be no nothing, the history is going to judge Zelensky for that. America have promised Zelensky for a weapons. A missiles that Ukraine is throwing to Russia. One missile, if you go to the market of weapons, one missile is cost $200,000 US. But now, America is selling that one missile to Ukraine for $400,000 US. One missile. If Ukraine shoot one missile, they have to pay America $400 US if they shoot one missile. And Ukraine was asking to shoot. They were begging America. They wanted to shoot 40 missiles in a day. So calculate it. $400,000 US times 40. Can Ukraine pay for that? If America is ready to help Ukraine, why are they telling Ukraine to pay for the missiles that they are giving them? One missile, if you go to the weapon market, it costs $200,000 US. But now America is selling it to Ukraine with a sum of $400,000 US. Let's go. People think this war is just a joking, and people are just blabbing. When I made that video, many people were saying, oh, Russia will fall down, Russia will fall. Which Russia will fall down? Do you even know what is happening? I even see some people, some Africans who are even living in Africa, they don't even know nothing about Europe. They don't even know nothing about this war. They are just blabbing, making comments, telling me that, hey, Ukraine will win. You are in Africa. You are suffering there. You can't even do nothing about your own country. You are complaining to me. You are insulting me in my comment section. When you are in Africa, they are suffering. Your leaders are making you suffer. You can't do nothing about that. Now you are fighting. You become a man. When it came to European war, when those Europeans were the one making war in your country every day, but you can't do nothing about it. But today you are insulting me because I am saying that Vladimir Putin is going to win. Because I said that NATO can't do nothing to Vladimir Putin. An African, you are sitting in Africa, you are commenting rubbish under my video insulting me because of that. I am in support of Vladimir Putin, and I make it very clear to everyone from the beginning. I am in support of whatever is happening to them. I am in support of it. And I'm never going to pray for the war to stop in Europe. I'm never going to pray for it. Why am I going to pray for it? Why? When they have made many wars in my countries, in my African countries, and you expect me to sit here and have pity? You expect me to sit here and pray for them? What kind of Africans are you? As an African, you came to under my comment sections insulting me because of I say Vladimir Putin will win the war, because of I say NATO can do nothing to Vladimir Putin. Do you know what NATO plan against Africa? You don't even know. You are sitting in Africa suffering there without no job opportunity. All your natural resources, your gas, your oil, your fuel, they are stealing all from you. You are there supporting them, still wanted to die for them. When it came to your own country, you become a woman. When it came to white man country, you become a man in social media, blabbing. You are not happy that they are having the same problem they give you for a very long time. They have been giving you wars in your countries, in your African countries. You are not happy that the table is turning. They are still facing the same way. They make you suffer. You are not happy about that as an African, but you are fighting your fellow African because he is feeling happy that the table is now turning around. I'm a man who will never feel afraid to stand and say they cause many wars in Africa, and I will be happy to see them facing more war. I am an African who will never be afraid to say that. If our leaders are afraid to tell them that we are never gonna put our mouth in your war, we are never gonna help you, I am going to say we don't care about whatever happened to them. If war happen, let it happen in their countries. Because they have caused many wars in our countries. They caused war in Syria, in Yemen, in Iran, in Ethiopia, in Cameroon, in Sierra Leone, in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger. They caused war in all countries. Whatever is happening to Nigeria, do you think who caused it? They are the cause of it. They are supplying terrorists a weapon every day. Every day. But now they are having the same problem. As an African black man, you are telling me that, no, yeah, Ukraine will win. We know Ukraine weapon, and you are sitting in Africa. Instead of for you to look into your country with the problems that are there, you invaded them out. Let us solve it. Let us fight for the problems of our countries in Africa. You are here fighting me because I say NATO is just bragging they can't do nothing to Russia. And that's the fact. Because how many, since 2021, NATO have been warning Russia they couldn't still fire even one missile. But people don't know what is going on. You are in Africa there. You don't even have good internet. They make even internet cost for you the Africans. So that you will not know what is going on in the world. They make internet cost for you. But in Europe here, internet is very cheap. We get internet very cheap. You buy 10 euro internet or 7 euro internet. Full 1 month you will be using it. You can't finish it. But in Africa, go there. Can you buy 10 naira internet and use it for full 1 month? Can you buy $10 internet and use it for 1 month? Can you buy 10 cedis of internet and use it for 1 month? No, it's not possible because they make your country, they make your currency more low for you to suffer more and more. When you need internet in Africa, you have to spend millions of your money. You have to spend thousands of your currency, of your African currency. When they need internet in Europe, they use just 10 euro, 7 euro, 6 euro for full 1 month. But you, the Africans, are not thinking of that. That is the problem of Africa. When you stand to fight for Africa, don't expect white people will fight you. Your own fellow Africans will stand and fight against you to see your downfall. So I expect it. I'm not worried. I expect it. Because there are Africans who are an obstacle to African liberation, who will become a big obstacle. And they will even be ready to die for white peoples and Africans, who they know that they are suffering today. They are because of their suffering. The cause of it is Europeans, Americans, and UK, the Western peoples. But today, if those Western people are in war, and African, you are sitting in Africa suffering. When you eat breakfast, you can't have lunch. When you eat lunch, you can't have dinner. You are there complaining. The little money you have, you buy it with internet just to come and support Western people in media. And those Western people make even internet cost in your country. But the little money you have, you buy internet instead of to use your brain to use that internet to capture something better for your own continent or your country in Africa. You are using it to against your fellow blacks and support. May God forgive Africa. If not, we are going to be used by ourselves to destroy ourselves. I will be destroyed, I know, and I will be destroyed by a black man, not a white man. But I'm never worried to be destroyed by a black man, because even if it happens, it will never be a surprise to me. Zelensky said NATO is weak. Why do Zelensky say NATO is weak? Why? Why do Zelensky says NATO is weak? Why do Zelensky came out to say NATO is weak? Because NATO have promised Zelensky, America have promised Zelensky, the Ukraine president, a NATO membership. That he should not feel afraid. They will give him a NATO membership. He should fight against Russia. They will give him NATO membership. He should not worry. They will help him with weapons. Now the war is going to a part where nobody knows what will happen next. Now everybody is saying the Third World War is going to begin. Everybody is afraid in Europe here. I'm in Europe and I know how much people are afraid. And even me, who I'm sitting here, I feel like the Third World War is already begun. Just that people are not ready to tell us. Because I'm not seeing any way that Russia will be defeated in this war. I'm not seeing it. If anybody tell you that Russia will be defeated, they are fooling you. They are just trying to steal your attention. But it can't happen. It can never happen. I'm not seeing any way. Anybody who is intelligent, they will tell you. I saw a Ukrainian soldier who was making it very clear that Vladimir Putin cannot be win. He have all weapons. He has some weapons that have never been used. He is not even using the latest weapons that he have. He's just using the training weapons. The weapons he don't need. The weapons that are Aspire. He even using. Russia is even using an Aspire weapon. This was from a Ukraine soldier who was saying that Vladimir Putin is using an Aspire weapons on Ukraine. He's not even using his latest weapons. So what happened if Vladimir Putin fire nuclear? Do you think nuclear bomb is just like a missile? You throw it, it destroy one city. Nuclear weapons destroy in a distance that half of the country go down. And no country in this world will raise their hand says that they have more nuclear weapon than Russia. So a man who is having more nuclear weapon than any other president in this world, you expect that that man will be defeated? When everybody is feeling afraid to attack him, when everybody is feeling afraid to even supply weapons to Ukraine, because they are afraid that he may fire them. When the almighty America that is calling themselves the giant of the world is afraid now because Vladimir Putin is now in Cuba. In Cuba, that is very closer to America. Putin have sent his warship to Cuba. And Cuba is now collaborating and doing a collaboration with Cuba. Now Americans are afraid that if Vladimir Putin will not fire them. Nobody is telling you all these things. Why do I come here to make it this clear? Because when I make that little video, I have seen so many people who have been misled by Western media, telling them that Western media is always population. Do you think I didn't see the same thing that you see in Western media? I saw it always. That they are writing there that Ukraine is winning. Ukraine fired Russia. Ukraine fired Moscow. Ukraine is winning Russia. I saw it always. But it's all fake. To make you believe that Ukraine is moving. To give you hope that Ukraine will win Russia. But it's impossible. Nobody in this world will tell you that they can win. Nobody can win Russia. It's not possible. Russia alone, nobody can win. And Russia is not alone in this war. It's not like Russia is standing alone. Russia is with Turkey. Russia is with Cuba. Russia is with China. Russia is with Brazil. All these countries are supporting Russia. And you think Russia will be defeated? You may be fooling yourself. Now Zelensky is understanding that NATO don't love Ukraine. Zelensky is now understanding that America don't love Ukraine. NATO says Ukraine can join. Ukraine can have the right to join NATO. Ukraine can join only when certain conditions are made. Now they are giving conditions to Ukraine to join. But before they were telling Ukraine that go on, make war, fight with Russia. We will give you NATO membership. But now they are giving them conditions. This is what NATO says. NATO Secretary General Yang, who is called Yang, the NATO Secretary General, who is called Yang, the General of NATO, the General Manager of NATO is called Yang. Yang says the alliance had never sent a strong political and practical message about Ukraine paths to membership. This is the General of NATO who is saying this. He said that the alliance had never sent a strong political and practical message about Ukraine path to membership of NATO. But Yang, the NATO Secretary General, had made it clear that Ukraine cannot join NATO while at war with Russia. And they are the one who forced Ukraine to fight against Russia. This Yang who is speaking, the general of NATO, they were the one who pushed Ukraine. Make war, we will give you membership. But now he is saying that Ukraine cannot join. That's what he's saying. He said Ukraine cannot join NATO while at war with Russia. So Ukraine have to finish war with Russia. When they have already supplied Ukraine with weapons, make the war more dangerous. Now they are saying that Ukraine cannot join unless they stop the war with Russia. Unless, as far as they are at war with Russia, they can't join NATO. When will that war stop? If they are already there supplying Ukraine with weapons to fire more and more, and Ukraine firing is not doing nothing to Russia. But when Russia do just 5-minute firing, it destroys more and more in Ukraine. I think now Zelensky will use his brain when they rejected him. They rejected him not long ago. Not long ago, they rejected Zelensky from joining NATO. Not long ago. But I think now he will use his brain and know that NATO and America was pushing him in a danger and sitting back and laughing at him. That is what is happening to him. But he didn't understand before. But I think now he is understanding because Zelensky himself came out to speak about NATO. He said that NATO is very weak. Zelensky said this when they disappointed him. When they told him that you can't join until certain conditions have been made. And those conditions are the war between them and Russia have to be stopped. Then later they can look into their matter to see if Ukraine can still join. NATO and America are using Ukraine to build up their economy. When they lose the chances to build up their economy by African resources, because Russia have taken over all the African countries, now they are using Zelensky to use Ukraine natural resources in the exchange of weapons. They give weapons to Ukraine and took their natural resources. They give them weapons and took their monies. Now Ukraine currency is going down. Ukraine natural resources is going down. Ukraine economy is going down. And Americans, they are growing their economy with Ukraine. America cannot grow their economy without making war in another man's country. NATO cannot grow up their NATO economy without making wars in another man's land. This is why they have to push Ukraine into war, to use Ukraine as a tool to build up their economy. And this is what people fail to understand, that even NATO and America knows that Ukraine will never win over Russia. Even Zelensky knows it. Zelensky knows they can never win Russia. But Zelensky was confidently going into this war because America and NATO have fooled him that we will give you full support. So this makes Zelensky to get the ball to say that I must win and I will win Russia. Because this is what America have been telling them. Biden have been given a fully promise that they will support Ukraine. Ukraine will not be left alone in this war. But today they are the peoples who are abandoning Ukraine and leaving Ukraine in the war. I pity. Innocent peoples are dying. But Zelensky is the one who is making decisions. And the person who is making decisions, Zelensky, is not understanding the game that America always play on peoples. America and NATO. Zelensky is not understanding. They have been playing this game on Africa for a very long time. When they want to grow with any African economy, they make war in that country. They make war in Sudan because they want to use Sudan economy. They make war in Ethiopia because they want to use their economy. They make war in Sierra Leone because they want to use their economy. They make wars in Burkina Faso, in all other places in Africa. So we the Africans have been used to their system. We know the system, the game they play, but Ukraine Prime Minister didn't know. How can a comedian be used to that kind of system? Ukraine President Zelensky was a comedian and he became a president. A comedian, when that one became a president, he think like everything is joke. It's a movie. It is not a movie, we are in a reality. Okay, let's talk about this. Yang, the NATO Secretary General, had made it clear that Ukraine cannot join NATO while at war with Russia. A Arab elector, Katya Andersen, the European elector, Katya Andersen, says this report from the summit in Vilnius. Zelensky was disappointed on NATO decisions. Zelensky was very, very disappointed. Russia warship sailed into Havana in Cuba. Russia warship sailed into Cuba in a city called Havana. Listen very well. Cuba greeted the ship, the Proskor, the first Russian naval vessel to make an official visit in here with a cannon fire salute. It is just the latest sign of the forging of titan between Russia and Cuba. Well, this is from the Cuba president. I'm not the one who said it, and it's not my own thinking. Whatever I'm going to say here is from the Cuba president. The Cuba president says, well, most of the rest of the world has denounced Russia for that invasion of Ukraine. Cuba president Miguel Diaz-Canel says is along with Putin on this. And they are all inaugurating a status of Fidel Castro. This is what the Cuba president said. In Moscow, in November, defend Russia war on the ground. He said, we are saying, we are condemning, we are rejecting the expansion of NATO toward Russian border. He told Russia today, we condemn all the measures and sanctions that have been applied as a way to cause the Russian Federation. This is what the Cuba president says. And people are not understanding whatever is happening in this war. Maybe I may not be able to tell you whatever, because the war have more stories. I may not be able to tell you all, but I may be able to tell you the best standard that people who are making comment on my last video, making rubbish comments, to learn from my words, you know. I will never ever tell them lie. But in the Western media, who is fooling them, as a black African, if you insult me sometimes, I see them as people who are going crazy. But it's really, really, really a pity on Ukraine. Russia is firing 20 to 30 cells a day in Ukraine right now. It takes the America a month just to produce an amount that is not even closer to what Russia is firing in a day. If Russia is firing 20 to 30,000 cells in a day in Ukraine, and America, who is pretending that they want to support Ukraine, it takes them a month just to produce an amount that is not even closer to what Russia is throwing in a day. Then guess how much Russia will make in a day or in a month? The cells that they are firing.